For this week's report, state primary election to be held in September. Tripoli spreads to surrounding towns. The Powder Keg Beer and Chili Festival returns to Exeter. The Energy Committee to host window insert event. A reminder about the Exeter UFO Festival. The Planning Board approves duplexes. And a special report about the first day of school for SAU 16. For Exeter TV, I'm Gabe Perez, and this is the Exeter Biweekly Report. Let's get started. Thanks for tuning into our show today. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the bell to get notified about new content. I have a lot to cover this week, and you're going to hear my voice for almost every single segment today, except a special report from Blue Hawk Media about the first day of school at the end of our show. So stay tuned. For our first segment, we have an important reminder about the upcoming state primary election. The state primary election will be held on Tuesday, September 10th, with polls open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the Talbot Gym. Exeter sits in State Senate District 24, comprised of Exeter, Greenland, Hampton, Hampton Falls, Northampton, Rye, and Stratham. In the State House, Exeter elects representatives to District 11 and 33. On the ballot for voters to decide are candidates for these districts, as well as the state's Executive Council, candidates for governor, representatives for Congress, and other positions. Voters have until September 3rd to register to vote prior to Election Day. Voters can register in the town clerk's office or at the September 3rd session of the supervisors of the checklist from 7 to 7:30 p.m. in the town offices. If voters do not meet this deadline, they are welcome to register on Election Day. If you're not in town on Election Day, the town clerk's office is now accepting absentee ballot requests for both the state primary in September and the general election taking place on November 5th. Contact the town clerk's office for details. More information about how to register to vote, the polling location, and sample ballots can be found on the town website at exeternh.gov/elections. Multiple cases of Triple E have been reported in surrounding towns around Exeter, putting the town at moderate risk. To combat this, the town has been spraying adulticide in order to keep the mosquitoes who spread the disease at bay. Here's an update on what that looks like. Recent tests in nearby towns have revealed the presence of Eastern Equine Encephalitis, or Triple E. The Exeter Health Department is working with Northeast Vegetation and Mosquito Control to conduct adulticide mosquito control treatments.
Towns like Kensington, Kingston, Newton, Danville, and Fremont have all had cases of Triple E or Eastern Equine Encephalitis. We are entered a moderate risk level, hence why we're spraying adulticide today.
To learn more about what goes into the treatment, we spoke with Northeast Vegetation and Mosquito Control.
The adulticide that we're using is called Crosscheck Plus. The active ingredient bifenthrin works as a general mosquito and insect repellent. We get about 3 to 4 weeks of coverage on that. And the idea is we apply them to the barriers and tree lines around these parks and other areas where people are possibly going to be exposed to mosquitoes. And it will repel them back into the woods rather than crossing over into the park. So we've had a number of Triple E cases in the surrounding area, as well as across the border in Massachusetts. And the idea here is we're putting this adulticide around the perimeter of these parks and schools to protect people from further exposure. And as we get further into the summer, we have older mosquitoes potentially carrying the disease, so we have a higher risk of spreading it on to residents.
While the town is working to address the elevated risks with spraying, Health Officer Madison Bailey wanted to stress the importance of prevention and keeping yourself safe.
This year we've used third-party contractor Northeast Vegetation and Mosquito Control to do all of the surveillance and prevention. So they'll go out every week, they'll set traps, They'll take the trapped mosquitoes and send them off to the lab in Concord to make sure we don't have any high risk of EEE or other mosquito-borne diseases. And they'll be in constant communication with me to make sure that if there are cases nearby, that we act accordingly, and that's what we've done today. So most people will be asymptomatic, which means they won't have any symptoms of the illness. About 24 to 72 hours to present, and it'll look like fever, chills, and body aches. And if you or someone you know has these symptoms and has been exposed to mosquito bites or has been outdoors during this moderate risk level, I would urge you to please consult with your doctor to see if testing needs to be done to confirm your diagnosis. I'd like to thank the town manager's office, and the select board for supporting this program. It is really important that we continue to monitor and survey the mosquito activity in Exeter and other surrounding towns. And if it wasn't for working with this company, Exeter wouldn't have any protection against EEE or other diseases. And I'd just like to preface that this is a great example of how prevention and public health go hand in hand.
For more information about the mosquito treatment, visit the town website at exeternh.gov. Next up, a quick reminder about the Powder Keg Beer and Chili Festival returning to Exeter in October. Hey Bob.
Hey Gabe, what you eating?
Oh, me? Just eating some nondescript generic brand chili cheese fries, that's all.
Why eating that garbage when you could be having some of the best chili this side of the Mississippi?
Because the Mississippi River is 1,267 miles away. And yes, I did check.
Not the point. Check out the Powder Keg Beer and Chili Festival.
The What and What Fest? The Powder Keg Beer and Chili Fest lands on October 5th to provide you with nothing but the best from local breweries, vendors, and connoisseurs alike. Delicious food, particularly homemade chili, handcrafted and spiced just right to your liking. Libations with an array of beers from local breweries, seltzers, and other drinks to quench your thirst. There truly isn't a food festival quite like it at Powder Keg. So if the likes of a whole festival dedicated to the latest and greatest in beer and chili entices you, you can come down to Swayze Parkway on October 5th, beginning at 1 p.m. for general admission, 12 p.m. for VIP, and enjoy a day of good eats, good drinks, and good vibes. For more information, you can visit their website at powderkegbeerfest.com. The Energy Committee is working on a community program aiming to save energy and money by making and installing window inserts. We spoke to members of the committee to learn more. The Exeter Energy Committee has partnered with the Window Dressers program to help keep Exeter homes heated and energy efficient as the summer turns to fall and fall becomes winter.
It's a program to help with leaky, drafty windows, which we know take a lot of heat out of houses and increase fuel costs, and we're trying to offer a solution instead of replacing windows or trying to fix them. This is a very low cost but effective solution for that, and we're doing it in town with volunteer help.
So how exactly does this program work?
And when you do an analysis of where the energy is actually going, where the heat's going, a lot of it's going out windows. But it's just very difficult to replace them or to get storm windows. And what these windows are their interior inserts that go inside the window. So they're very easy to put in, they're easy to take out, and they're very low cost.
Yep, so you can see it's pretty simple. This is obviously a small mock-up, but it's pine with 2 pieces of plastic. So those are put on essentially with a hairdryer, like you would do, the old ways that we would seal a window up. So part of it is putting the pine frames together, and then part of it's covering with plastic. So you've got this seal, and then you've got this foam that Mark talked about that sort of gives a little bit of buffer around the window. So these can be used year after year. They can be used in the summer. A lot of people get a lot of heat in their windows as well. So these are really helpful and affordable.
It's pretty quick and easy. So I coordinate a team of measurers who are volunteers who will essentially come into the home. They will identify which windows you want to have inserts for. They will determine what the best setup we have to get whatever size window you want, whether or not you have arched windows, which we can't currently do, or if you have square windows. Even particularly large windows they can do. So what they'll do is they'll identify each window you want to have used, and then they will make sure that the windows are square, and then they'll just take 6 quick measurements with a laser measurer, and that'll be it. So that'll mostly be the homeowners. Actually, a big part of this is that at the community build, people will be picking up their window inserts and bringing them home. Installation, I don't think could be any simpler. There's a very thin outline of foam that allows for some tolerance to go in and out. So it's really just setting it in and giving it a little bit of a push. And when you pull it out, it's the exact same thing, just a little bit of a push and it pops right out.
To round it all out, the program is designed around affordability, based entirely on community involvement. As you heard, volunteers are the ones doing the installations, volunteers such as yourself. This helps keep the project affordable and reasonably priced.
The range for the window costs, it's about $35 for a smaller window up to about $95 for a larger one. So with each measurement, we get sort of this spits out a cost for each window. And some of the costs are offset by grants that we've gotten. So that's also what makes it affordable. But you know, folks that have these, they have found they get paid back from the savings in their fuel bills in about 1.5 years. So it's really, they're really efficient and makes sense financially.
If you're looking to help keep your home efficient or want to join in on helping your community become more efficient, you can reach out to the Energy Committee through their contacts on the town website at exeternh.gov/energy, or visit the Window Inserts website at windowdressers.org/insulating inserts. We've got a special message sent in from outer space, and we definitely weren't mind controlled into playing it for you today. We just wanted to show you.
Greeting, human. Exeter, New Hampshire. At 8:30 a.m. Me Exeter UFO Fest. Town Hall to the Pathetic Bocadilito Townhouse Common So remember, simple human, 8:30 a.m. this Saturday, August 31st, all the way to Sunday, September 1st.
The planning board met on August 22nd to review several applications, including a site plan review for duplexes on Main Street. Here's a recap from our Meeting Minute series. Welcome to your Meeting Minute for the Planning Board's August 22nd meeting. The board met early at 6:30 p.m. to hold a brief continued discussion on the Capital Improvements Program, or CIP. The first base before the board was a continued public hearing for a site plan review and wetlands and shoreline conditional use permits for the proposed construction of a commercial vehicle storage area and accessory storage building located at 127 Portsmouth Ave.
You know, we did go back and did what we thought was going to be, enough to get the conservation on board with us. We've pulled all of the pervious pavement as well as the building completely out of the 150-foot shoreline setback. The area of concern that was cited to us by the Conservation Commission at the meeting in July in particular was this wetland pocket and its buffer, which was at that time, proposed grading basically went all the way down to just above where the edge of wetland is. We were able to preserve basically half of that distance, provided a retaining wall in that location to take care of that.
I think the Conservation Commission has representation here, but from your perspective, what did you think would have been approved by them? Nothing? No structure? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that was the indication we got. There was a memo by one of the members that was handed out that evening, which essentially said that yes, they reduced things, but it was, I think, penned in the memo, cited as minimal, and still not comfortable with the overall layout. And there was a final paragraph that essentially said, what do I think could be approved here? I think I could get behind approval of the pervious parking area without the building.
However, due to that building's proximity, the Conservation Commission still has warranted concerns about the impact to those water resources down below.
In the end, the board moved to approve the project with the conditions specified by town planner Dave Sharples. Conditions such as a pre-construction meeting to be conducted to assess the stormwater pollution prevention plan, third-party construction inspections, and a stormwater system operation and maintenance report, as well as other things. The second case related to 50 Linden Street was continued to a later meeting in September at the request of the applicant. The final case before the board that evening was for a multifamily site plan review for the proposed construction of 2 residential duplex structures on the property located at 46 Main Street, which sits near Main Street School. Aaron Lambert, on behalf of the applicant, presented their project.
All right, so we're here before you tonight for a multifamily development at 46 Main Street. Just wanted to orient you. This is the location of the parcel on Main Street. Excuse me, it's a 0.6 acre parcel. It's currently an automotive repair station. So this is the site plan, and I colored it just to help give it a little bit of context. So there are 2 duplexes separated by about 40 feet. The driveway is located as far northwest as we could get it, recognizing that there is a lot of traffic on the street. So the driveway is as far north as we could get it to allow as much queuing as we understand happens on the roads during school drop-off and pickup. So there are garages underneath each home, so the project requires 2 parking spaces per unit plus a half a visitor space, so in total 10 parking spaces are required. We're actually providing 12. There is a 2-car garage for each unit, so that totals 8 parking spaces, and then there's 4 surface spaces intended to be those visitor spaces.
Several members of the public raised their questions and concerns with the board.
Many intersections in this town that are 3-way intersections, they're antiquated. They should be just 2-way intersections, but I'm wondering if we could have 3 stop signs on that road where it intersects with Cass Street, 1 on each side of Main Street, to slow the traffic, to slow the noise that is increasingly getting worse, and many drivers have no respect for what's going on there. The town deserves to have people slow down when they approach town or are exiting the town, and make it safer for the people that live on that curve.
Mm-hmm. My only concern is just that for the carriage house, which is 60A, that there's enough of a buffer. It sounds like there will be with the 6-foot fence and then some of the trees, but that carriage house is built on a slab. So I just want to make sure that it's protected and there's no flooding or anything.
We'll close this part of the public session and bring it back to the board.
In the end, the site was approved with conditions stated by Dave Sharples, closing out for the night. The next planning board meeting will be on September 12th. See you there. And for our last segment, Eric Chellis of Blue Hawk Media over at the high school prepared us a special report on the first day of school for SAU 16.
It's the start of a new school year, and SAU 16 is getting ready to welcome the students back after the summer. On August 21st, the Hawk crew and the staff of Exeter High School welcomed the incoming freshmen. The freshmen were able to walk around the school as if it was a typical school day, getting to know the building. They also were able to pick up their Chromebooks that they will use for their classes for the upcoming school year. We caught up with a few of the Hawk crew students to see how they are looking forward to the new school year.
I like the school a lot. I'm going into my junior year, and it's just been really fun so far. It's a really good community and stuff, so I'm excited to go back.
I'm just really excited to get back to being in school and having a schedule and, seeing all my friends every day, which is really nice. And obviously summer was good, but it's just good to get back into a routine.
I am looking forward to the football games, and I'm really excited because they're always super fun, and I love dressing up for them, for the special ones.
On August 22nd, the SAU 16 staff gathered at EHS for convocation, where the focus was the draft vision statement. Some students got to speak about how the draft vision statement is geared towards their learning.
Something I think you should know about me is the way I learn. I like talking, in class, during recess, at lunch, and here today. If it's a subject I like, I can't stop talking. but I need to work on not talking as much. Sometimes my teachers have to stop me and let other people have a turn, which I think is a huge part of how a community works. Letting other people feel like they belong by giving them a turn to share their ideas and to be heard.
Global citizenship also means learning about other cultures and understanding that not all people live the same way. One of my favorite projects in 5th grade was when we had to pick any country in the world to research, and I chose Chad, a big country in Africa. I really learned a lot about the food they eat, the climate where they live, the languages they speak, and the animals that live there. I also learned that they are very poor and they don't have as much as we have here. That made me have empathy for them and be grateful for what I have.
My class had learned a song titled "You're Wonderful," and we were gearing up to perform it for our kindergarten graduation celebration. However, 6-year-old Anna was not entirely sold on the positive affirmations being sung throughout the song. I felt cheesy singing lyrics about being wonderful, marvelous, magical, and filled with curiosity over and over again. But little Anna was unaware that the song could actually mean something to her, and reading the vision statement and thinking about all of my school experiences since kindergarten has helped me to find that meaning.
We caught up with Dr. Esther Asbell to hear about the draft vision statement, as well as talking about the district's strategic planning and the upcoming budget season.
We're super excited with our new draft vision statement that will go before the joint board on September 16th. That has new language around equity, that we engaged the community last March. Students, staff, community members all came together. We went through our protocol to work around language and add language around equity. We've developed a great draft vision, and we're very hopeful that when it goes to the joint board in mid-September, that'll get passed and we can move forward. Our next step and big project this year is strategic planning. That will start with monthly meetings internally. We will develop a survey and send that out to community members, staff members, students in probably January, and then look forward to some 3 half-days of actual strategic planning with our community, students, and staff. March 27th and 28th will be from 4 to 8 at the Tuck campus, and then Saturday will be a half day from 9 to 12, and the goal is to have some real themes and where our community wants us to work on for strategic planning. So we're excited about that process also. As always, our budget process is well underway with the SAU being first, and then we'll continue through the towns on that regular SB2 and annual school district meetings. That information can begin to be found at our SAU 16 website, and we hope the community engages with us. As always, if you have any questions about any school budgets, don't hesitate to contact Molly O'Keefe, our business administrator, or myself. And we are really excited. The schools are off to a great start. I've been walking through. The students seem to be really excited. Our staff is excited. So thank you, as always, to the community for your support, and all of our staff and students for joining us as we work our way towards enacting our vision.
Thanks, Eric. A quick reminder that you can watch Blue Hawk Media on Education Channel 8 in all SAU 16 towns. You can subscribe to their YouTube channel to stay up to date with school sports, meetings, and more. That does it for this week's report. There's been some changes made to the Exeter TV operation these last few days, leaving me to be a one-man show for the upcoming next few weeks. I just want to wish Bob good luck on his family-related vacation and whatever this mysterious image above me is supposed to be, but I'm sure we won't find out until the next edition of the report. And congratulations to Will for moving up. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to help us spread the word. Head over to the town website and subscribe to the town email newsletter to get this show and other local news sent straight to your inbox. Next report will be an exclusively Gabe-run operation, so make sure to tune in on September 13th for the next edition of the show. For Exeter TV, I'm Gabe Perez, and this has been the Exeter Biweekly Report. Have a good weekend, Exeter.